right out now to NewsNation international correspondent Robert Sherman, who is live in Tel Aviv. Robert.
Well, hey there, Kelly. Well, the news is starting to make the rounds here in Israeli circles about the elimination of Ayatollah Khamenei, who many have viewed here in Israel as the root cause of all instability here in the region and the root cause of so much pain that people here have felt, whether it has been pain inflicted by groups that bear different names, whether it's Hamas, whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's the Houthis, whether it is Palestinian Islamic Jihad or any other group that operates in the region. All roads lead to Tehran when it comes to their funding and when it comes to their mobilization. That has been the sentiment here in Israel, which has been backed up by American intelligence for years. Seeing the elimination of the Supreme Leader Khamenei, just announced by the White House a few minutes ago, but also in tandem, the elimination of key defense and intelligence officials, the leadership of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, those who were close to Ayatollah Khamenei, indicates that this was a major decapitating operation in Iran that has been carried out by both the Israelis and the Americans. We know of hundreds of targets struck by the Israelis, hundreds more struck by the Americans. At this juncture, no casualties to report from the militaries that have been involved in this, from the Israelis or the Americans up to this juncture. Looking at this from a 40,000-foot view, the Israelis have viewed this as what they described as quick start to the operations. There is indications that this will be continuing until all of the objectives of the operation have been completed. That includes targeting nuclear sites, eliminating ballistic launch sites, as well as providing an opportunity in order for there to be change in Iran. And from the people who we have been in touch with on the ground in Iran, we know some have been cheering in the streets. We know some early this morning were hoping that the strikes would come and they would be sustained, and they would not be just limited to military targets, but also political ones as well. Those hopes have been answered by those who we've been speaking with on the ground in Iran. And I can tell you from those that we've heard from, there is hope that there can be brighter days on the horizon there in the country. But as we've seen here over the last 90 minutes or so, those who still remain, those who are still holding the line in Iran as a part of the regime, have vowed to make the West pay and have vowed to carry on the strikes against Israel and American troops that are around the region here. We've seen some massive salvos over the last 90 minutes or so. Those are expected to continue here. But the big question is exactly how long will they carry on for, and exactly what does Iran still have in the arsenal, and what are they prepared to put into the field of play with the supreme leader being eliminated. Kelly.
All major questions as we look ahead here. NewsNation's Robert Sherman. Robert, as always, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.